Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. It is hot nowadays and watering can be a chore. Installing a drip irrigation system can save time and sweat and put water right where the plants need it. Today, we will show you how to put one in. Also, today, we're going to take a walk around our garden and identify some problems you may have in your garden. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by Goodwin's Landscape and Garden Center in Germantown since 1943 and continuing to offer its plants for successful gardening with 7 greenhouses and 3 acres of plants, plus comprehensive landscape services. International Paper Foundation, the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Melissa Nowak. Miss Melissa is a master gardener right here in Shelby County, and Mr. D will be joining us later. All right, Miss Melissa, drip irrigation.
Oh, it is so exciting.
I can tell you're already excited about it.
I am so excited about this. Drip irrigation is the process of putting water where you want it, when you want it, and how much you want it.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about today is how to take it basically from your house, from a pond, from anywhere you have a water source, to getting it to your plants.
Okay.
And so I want to show you first, if you have a water source, we're going to be coming off of a utility here at the gardens, and we're not going to be too concerned about a regulator because on our timer we have a filter that has a little filter on it. We have a timer. We're going to regulate the water based on a little knob that we're going to have on our hose. So we're not going to worry too much about that. I would highly recommend a timer because I hate going out at 7 o'clock in the morning and trying to time my water.
Okay.
But I highly recommend, you can buy these timers, you can buy regulators. Everything I'm showing you, you can get pretty much any drug hardware store anywhere in the Mid-South.
Okay.
So.
Is it relatively inexpensive, or it just depends on how much you're going to buy?
It is very inexpensive, very inexpensive.
Okay.
Cheaper than probably a garden hose.
Oh, how about that? All right.
Once you really get rolling with it. But I would recommend a timer. So first thing you got to have is you got to have your 1/2-inch pipe.
Okay.
Now, 1/2-inch pipe is your main hose that you're going to take off your garden hose. And I want to show you how easy it is to put this sucker together. I have what's called a female fetter, and you take this and you have a little, see the little knob there?
Okay.
You're going to push this into here like this, and I love this because I can do it. A lady can do this. Right. You put that in and then you twist it till it comes and it wraps around it. And so now that's nice and tight. So that's put together.
All right, and the lady did that.
The lady did that. It's on there tight, yeah.
It sure is.
So then you come back and you put it against your water source, and see it's got all the, and there's even a washer in there.
Okay.
So I don't have to care about the washer. And then you put it on there like that. And that takes care of the one end. Right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this. And what do you have to think about if you're going to put this in your flower garden, your butterfly garden? You got to think about how long do you need this 1/2-inch hose. You don't have to cover, as you see, I made it long enough to go all the way to the end of this garden, which is fine. Oh, yeah, you did. So now you got to think about, okay, I got to close that water off.
Okay.
So how do I do that? There's 3 ways to close that water off. If you think that you're going to extend that water into another bed at one point in time, you have a connector like this. You can put it on the same way, where you turn it down, go over that little nodule.
Just like the last one.
Just like the last one. The beauty of this is it has a cap and it comes off. So again, you could connect another hose to it or another 1/2 inch
Okay.
pipe to it. We're not going to put that on this one.
Okay.
You also have what's called an 1/8, where you can just fold it over like so, and it'll fit there like that,
Okay.
and then undo it. But for this particular one, we're going to use our trusty wire tie.
Got to keep those handy, right?
Oh, you got to have your wire ties. And once you get the wire tie on, and it's like any hose,
All right.
once you get that bent, you're locked down. I'm going to hold this down because you're going, how do you hold the black hose down to keep it out of the way? I'm going to hold this down just a little bit. All right, I've got my black piping in place. Now I need to think about how do I get water to my plants?
Okay.
We have 3 peppers here and we have 3 tomatoes. Now, we know with tomatoes, they really don't like water on their leaves.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, right?
Peppers don't really care.
Okay.
You got thousands of different kind of sprinkler heads that you can use. And you got bukus of risers, and these are called risers.
Okay.
You can get them all which ways. I even have one here we're going to actually attach to our flower garden
Okay.
that is a container bed riser, and it puts the water specifically down. Now comes the fun part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 1/4 inch pipes in. Now the way that is you have, if you're going to do this a lot, I would recommend getting a hole punch.
Okay. That's a hole punch.
Here's a hole punch, and it's going to cut only a hole big enough to be a 1/4 inch. I'm always kind of guessing where I might want to put a hole. So I make a hole, and I always have to kind of do it, and then I kind of measure. Well, that's not really where I want to put it. So I have this nifty little thing called a goof plug.
Ah,
And so I take this tiny little goof plug and I
Just
put
plug it back.
Just plug it back.
Okay.
I get a little click and going, well, water's going to come through that thing. So I move my hole over. Make my hole.
About that.
Then I have these connectors. They got a hole through both of them.
Okay.
I take the 1/4 inch piping, put it through there, and I'm going to go to a tomato. So the way this particular riser is, there's the hole where the water goes,
Okay.
and the water comes out here.
I got you.
So come to this, put it down in there. I put my, hear a little click, feel a little click. And the nice thing about this is it's got an arrow. You're going to
So it
see.
lets you know which way it goes.
Yeah. That's why
Smart.
we call it Goof Easy.
Uh-huh.
And then you put it right down here at the root of the plant. And that water is only going to go to to the root of that plant.
Okay.
Now, you noticed I made that a lot longer. What if I decide, well, that plant died, it's not doing too well, I need to move it? You can move these things. So you don't really need a lot of 1/2 inch pipe as much as you need your 1/4 inch pipe. Put that in there. And then this head is called a bubbler head.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of a bubbler sprayer, depending on how much water you put to it. The beauty of this is you can regulate it at the head,
Dial it. Okay.
which I love, because depending on how much water you need and how far you need that water to go, you can change it here. So again,
It's pretty good.
take this, and can you hand me one of those little connectors?
Is it one of
Yeah,
those?
one of those.
I'm learning.
All right.
Connector.
You put this together like that. Now this one, the water comes up from the side.
I got you.
Get the right end. The nice thing about doing it on a hot day today is all this plastic PVC works beautifully because it's hot enough and it works well. So you make another hole. Punch it all the way through. Push it in until it clicks.
Uh-huh.
And there you go. There's some hard dirt there. Now, this will eventually lay down once it gets settled. You can have it behind, right up here against the wood,
Okay.
so it's hidden. So if you have a flower garden, you don't want all this black showing, you can put it up against the wood. You can also lay mulch over it and it won't be
Yeah,
seen.
that'd be a good idea.
Now let me put in the rest of them because I got all sorts of other ones right here.
All right, let's give it a shot.
All
See
right,
if it works.
let's try it.
All right. All right. See water. Hey, hey.
All right, that one's working, that one's working.
Yeah, this one's working.
All right, that's doing what it's supposed to. That one's getting a little crazy,
All right.
but that's all right.
Because it can't be adjusted, right?
It can be
You
adjusted.
adjust
Yep. I haven't used this one in a while, but you can see how all these tomato plants, it's all staying down by them. This one's swirling like it's supposed to. This one's bubbling like it's supposed to.
Okay.
And all that water is staying right there underneath the
It
tomatoes,
sure is.
which is what we wanted.
How about that?
You got an irrigation
We have
system.
an irrigation system.
You sure do. Yep.
We appreciate that, Miss Melissa.
You are more than welcome.
Thank you much. There are a number of gardening events going on in the next couple of weeks. Here are just a few that might interest you. All right, Mr. D, we're in the family plot garden. And we have some treats in here for the folks to see, huh?
We do. When you first walk up to these squash, they really look good. They're, green. They're tall. They're producing. We've got some squash that are ready to eat here. But closer inspection reveals
Yes.
that we may have 2 or 3 issues here. The first thing I see the squash bugs?
I see 'em.
We have squash bugs here that are in the process of creating more little squash
That's
bugs. But they don't do a lot of damage themselves to the plant, but they do. They have piercing, sucking mouth parts, and when they feed on the plant, they can spread a virus, which can wipe squash out very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it's the squash mosaic virus is one of the ones that they carry. So it's a good idea to try to keep these from appearing in large numbers. So probably need to treat with one of the pyrethrin pesticides, esfenvalerate or something like that to control them. Also, we see the leaves that are beginning to yellow here.
Yeah.
That's because these, unfortunately, and this is very unfortunate, these plants have become infested with the squash vine borer. And the squash vine borer, like the peach tree, is related to the peach tree borer, dogwood borer, maple borer.
Okay.
They are
Realize that.
devastating insects, and they unfortunately kill their host. They're not smart enough to only feed
Yeah.
on the limbs. If they just feed on a few limbs, it'd be
Yeah.
okay. But they feed on the main trunk, and it takes a little while, but they will kill their host plant. And I'll actually pull this plant up and show you
Okay.
the squash vine
Yeah,
borer.
let's do that.
Before I do that, I'm gonna look here. We got a squash that's ready to pick. I'm gonna go and get that, and you
Nice.
need to do that before you do any destruction, because I'm going to destroy the squash plant right here. I'm going to go and bring it up by the roots, and you can
Nice.
see the damage that we have right here. where the bore went in. It's quite a hole. You see, as a matter of fact, you can see a couple of holes
Yeah, you sure can.
where the bore went in. And I'm going to do a little trimming here and see if we can figure out where that critter is. I'm going to go ahead and take the root off. The best way to find the bore is to split the bark. Probably, I'm not sure you need to try this at home, cutting towards you. Let's see here.
You see anything
Just
yet?
ease on up. Actually, I think I just,
Did you get it?
I missed. I don't know whether this is the boar. I think that this is not the boar. It's still where it's been. Something may have killed this boar. Sometimes it moves on up the plant, but I don't think it's moved any further up this plant.
Yeah, it doesn't look
I
like
think
it.
it fed around down at the base, but that's what it does. The devastating damage, though, was right here. Let me go the other way and see if
Oh yeah.
what may very well have happened is the squash vine borer could have done its damage. It could have gone down, and it may have already gone down into the soil and pupated, which is what it may have done. But I'd sure like to find it for you. That is not the squash vine borer.
Yeah.
That is a secondary insect that's feeding on the frass and all of that.
Wow, it's definitely been there. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's what it's done. It's already come out.
You're right.
That's why we saw so many holes. It's already come out and gone down into the soil and pupated. But many times you can actually this is the first time I've not been able to find squash vine borer
Okay.
or squash when I cut into it.
Okay.
Most of the time when you cut into one that you see that kind of damage, you can actually find the borer in that plant.
Okay.
That's the most serious issue that we have here, and you know,
Well, how do we control it?
that's the number one question. This
Yeah.
is one of the few insects that you have to apply preventative pesticide applications, and there are none of the BT products that will help you with the squash vine borers. Starting in fairly early June, you probably need to start spraying squash, and I know the squash is pretty small at that time.
Yeah.
The good thing about trying to control the squash vine borer is you do not have to spray the whole plant. You can direct your spray toward the base of the plant and just spray down around the base of the plant, because that's where the squash vine borer attacks it. And you probably need to do that once a week. Sevin, Carbaryl,
Carbaryl.
Esfenvalerate are products that will give you control over that squash vine borer. But you almost need to keep a pesticide coat on that plant from early June until you start harvesting. And even you probably need to continue spraying throughout the harvest season. Just be sure that you don't get the. By the way, there's your squash bag.
Yeah.
Just be sure you
That's
don't get you don't get pesticide on the squash. You just again
right.
direct your spray toward the base of the plant and lower part of the plant.
All right, Mr. D, we definitely appreciate that. All right. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us a letter or an email with your gardening questions. Send your email to familyplot@wkno.org. The mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee, 38016. All right, this is our Q&A session, Ms. Melissa.
Hi.
You help us out now. We
I'll-
get into trouble here.
Right.
All right, here's our first viewer email. I have a landscape cherry tree and the leaves are turning yellow. The green leaves have holes in them. What is wrong with it? I did see something swarming around it after dark, but could not tell what they were. Against the light, they look like glistening butterflies. And this is Miss Elizabeth in Pleasant View, Tennessee. What do you think about that, Mr. D?
I think there may have been glistening butterflies flying around the cherry tree, but I don't think that's what caused the problem. That appears to be we call it shot hole.
Yeah, I call it bacterial shot hole
And it's a
disease.
bacterial leaf spot that the bacteria attacks the leaf, and you have little brown spots, and then the inside of that spot falls out. It's a shot hole appearance. You can hold it up to the light and it looks like you shot it with birdshot.
Exactly what that is, and it's a big problem in the Prunus genus. So the stone fruits, pretty much the cherries, the peaches, the nectarines, and so on and so forth. I always tell folks to practice good sanitation.
Right.
So get those diseased leaves up, double bag them, as Mr. D likes to say, throw them in the trash.
Yeah. Don't put them in the mulch pile.
Don't put them in a mulch pile.
Okay.
You can use a fungicide if you like. I think it's going to be a lot of work.
The Agristrip 17, the antibiotic type things, I don't think I would
Nah.
go with that. Not on an ornamental
I don't
cherry
think I
tree.
would either.
It's not going to kill your cherry tree. It may look a little bad, but it's not going to kill your cherry tree.
Nah, this looks bad aesthetically.
Right.
That's all. And the tree, for the most part, will produce new leaves next year. So you'll be fine. All right, thank you, Miss Elizabeth. We appreciate that. Here's our next question. How can you tell if your watermelon is ripe? We always seem to get that question this time of the year. Any thoughts on that?
I do, and
He said, I do.
and you might be surprised, but in my years down in Mobile, that was a great watermelon growing area down there
Okay.
in Mobile, and they were known for the Grand Bay watermelon. Grand Bay is a little town west of Mobile, close to the Mississippi line. But one of the best watermelon growers I've ever known down there, a commercial grower by the name of Buck Kreps, taught me how to pick a watermelon, and it's always worked for me. I don't thump the watermelon. I don't check the curl on it. I roll that watermelon over and I look at its belly.
Okay.
And if the belly is cream colored, it's ready to go.
Ready to go.
It's ready
How
to go.
about
And that's what Buck Kreps taught me back 25 or 30 years ago.
And it works.
It works for me, and it's worked for me that long.
I hear the old timers always say it's the soil spot that you're talking about when they roll it over where it's been sitting on the dirt itself. Yep, but they say if it's creamish in color.
Cream color,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
All right, so there you have it. You take Mr. D with you to the supermarket to determine whether it's the right watermelon or not. All right, so here's our next question. What can I spray on my monkey grass to kill the Bermuda grass and not harm the monkey grass? And this is from Mr. Mike.
And you're a herbicide man
Yeah.
yourself, but there's Cefoxidim is the
I'll tell you something that's simpler than that. You can get grass begone. Grass begone, Ordermic is another one.
does it have Cefoxidim in it, or is it another?
Fluazaflop
Fusilade.
is the active ingredient. So Fusilade would be another one that you can use.
Right. Post
Post.
is what the farmers use, but Vantage is
Vantage
another
is
trade
another one.
name.
Sure
and
is.
but you said grass begone?
Grass begone is what
Right.
the homeowners could get. Fusilade they may be able to get, but it contains Fluazaflop.
Right.
And then what it does, it targets the grass and releases the monkey grass, because monkey grass is in the lily family. It's not a grass, it's the lily family. So it releases the monkey grass and just targets the Bermuda,
Right.
other true grasses.
Okay.
It's
That's good
actually
to
a lot
know.
easier to do that, to kill Bermuda grass and monkey grass, than just kill monkey grass and Bermuda grass. right?
Yeah, you got that right. Because monkey grass is
pretty
difficult
tough.
to control. It's
Yes.
pretty tough. All right, Mr. Mike, so there you have it. Just any of those products and you'll be just fine. All right, here's our next question. Will bagworms kill my arborvitae? Some are too high in the tree for me to pick off. What can I do?
Absolutely nothing right now.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing right now. I mean, and I don't know whether they'll kill that arborvitae or not. I know they can defoliate it, completely defoliate it. They can take all the leaves off, which is not going to help an arborvitae this time of the year.
That's true.
Fortunately, bagworms only have one generation per year, and so they've probably by now just about done all the damage they're going to do. And the thing that you need to remember is the time to control bagworms is in May, when the bags and the worms or the caterpillars are really small, when they're only like a quarter of an inch when they first hatch out. It's pretty easy to control, and you can control them using an environmentally friendly product, BT, Bacillus thuringiensis.
Right.
Will take them out, and I would use a hose end sprayer. I mean, you're not going to see any damage that early,
Right.
but if you have a history of problems with that plant, I'd use a hose end sprayer. I'd use anything to get the bacteria up in the top of that plant,
Yeah.
and do that maybe 2 or 3 times in May, and you shouldn't have any problem.
Okay. And I will say this, if your arborvitae is already stressed, then there's a chance now.
You may have lost it.
There's a chance if it's already stressed, you know, due to fertility or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, bagworms are tough.
Yeah, they can totally devote defoliate. They can completely
tough.
defoliate.
All right, Miss Melissa, Mr. D, we're out of time. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Cooper. Be sure to join us next time for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by Good Winds Landscape and Garden Center in Germantown since 1943 and continuing to offer its plants for successful gardening with 7 greenhouses and 3 acres of plants, plus comprehensive landscape services. International Paper Foundation, the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.